and we were demanded by contract to maintain it to a different level, to spend millions of dollars to keep it to that level, because not, and everybody knows this, and that's why I mentioned before, it was voted the #1 best new golf course in the United States, and it was done so because of all the money we have to spend to keep it that way.
Next question. I always thought it was a premier golf course. Now it's not a premier golf course unless you take over the waterfront?
No, it is a fabulous golf course, no question, and like I said, it was voted the #1 best new golf course. But to deliver a major golf championship for PGA pro players, this is what we need to do. We need to finish the 17th and 18th hole, and this is what the governing bodies of golf have shared with us.
Okay, my last question is about the waterfront. You know, going along the water here, quite a bit of property. But the amount of property underwater here is probably 3 times more. So when you get this waterfront, title passes to the land underwater. If everybody looks at their handy-dandy map, where it's gray, would be one hell of a marina. So tell me, do you have any plans for the water, the land underwater, like a marina?
Great idea. I'm for it. I'm for it. We need a marina. Yeah. Great. That's a great idea.
You don't
We
have enough
support it.
parking. Hello, parking?
I got 5,000.
Julio,
5,000
Julio, come on. You got 20 seconds, man.
No, I'm waiting for a
So,
response.
you talking to the Parks Department or?
Is that a
Trump?
question for us, or it's not our obligation to
No,
build a
if
marina?
this was approved, and if you got this land
It-
up to the water's
Right.
edge,
It was not part of our plan to develop a full-blown marina in the waterfront there, no, it wasn't. We were
but you
planning
are
to
aware
spend-
that you would in fact, because you have the water front, you also get the land underwater.
Right, so.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be clear that we wouldn't take possession of the 19.5 acres. The 19.5 acres would always remain City of New York Parks Department property. We would simply be remediating it and creating a beautiful park and maintaining it over the existence of our contract.
Oh, so you actually don't own the waterfront?
The city owns it. It's theirs. We would never.
Thank you, I didn't realize
No,
that.
we
That's
would-
good.
We're just
We're not trying to take it over.
We're not doing
We're not trying to take it over at all.
I'm for a marina. We need more marinas in the Bronx.
Next speaker, John Doyle.
I was going to say I'll give Jonka the balance of my time, but I don't want to put everybody through that. So I wanted to get a few things just kind of set here. And first, I know that as somebody who's been involved in the neighborhood for about 10 years, when it comes to parks projects, sometimes they do take forever. If everyone recalls with Belden Point, I was one of those lead people who was standing in front of cameras, going to reporters, getting to them to cover that before this commissioner came on. This project never moved. Her predecessor, I'm sorry, did not leave the agency with the best name. So I sympathize with many of the things that are being said here. And let's also give credit. I mean, the Trump Golf Course arranged a great contract to themselves. And the rates that are higher than other rates in the city, they got it fair and square, and it was approved, and everybody knew what was going on. But I think this is not the best process that's been laid out, because I heard the gentleman say there are 2 proposals on the table. And that's really not true. One of them was rejected by the City of New York. I understand the community board has an advisory role, but there was not a proposal for the Trump Golf Course before the community board. I think the question the community board needs to ask is what's in the first name of your function here? What is in the best interest of the community? Now, I see 2 proposals here. Good, not excellent. There are serious security concerns that need to be addressed, and I don't think the residents on Emerson Avenue would particularly like public access there. I know I spoke to Kevin about that. But is it really in the public interest to expand a 17th and 18th hole of this golf course and extend their contract for another 20 years? This will not be maintained forever or in perpetuity. That is not true. Throgs Neck has no real parks within its boundaries, both Ferry Point and Veterans Bicentennial on other sides of highways. Actually, we were also ranked as 41 out of 51 for accessible parks within a 5-minute walk by the New Yorkers for Parks organization. So there is a public need for parks. Now, how that goes through, everyone who lives over there needs to be on board, needs to be a part of the planning process. But I see with this, you have plans, you have schematics, and you don't have that from the other organization. The final thing I mentioned is the Trump Golf Course often doesn't keep its promises. The New York One reported on the Caddy program. And you only have to go to the Atlantic to see they've made promises about public access before with Trump a tower. They did not keep them. So I encourage the people to think about this and to please make the right decision. Thank you.
John, you have one.
Are you representing Trump Golf Course?
No, I'm representing Lakewood. Next speaker is Joanne Summers.
I'm from the Third Point Association. I have a couple questions.
You can pick it up.
Yeah. When did you come up with the idea of doing the waterfront over there? Was it at the time that Trump proposed his expansion? Or was it,
Yeah, it was always the intention to create a waterfront park there. So that was, as Trump developed those plans, he knew that there was going to be a waterfront park
they knew
in
that?
that location.
What happens here with the board? If, let's say, you all vote yes on Trump, what happens next? Because I don't know if, I know the mayor doesn't want this to happen. Okay, and it sounds to me to be political. Okay. He has developed a golf course where it was a dump, full of toxins. He cleaned it all up, he built it, people are coming here. I don't understand.
Joanne, real quick, I think the city built the golf course.
Kevin. That's out of order.
Okay,
Yeah,
but he's, by me.
I'll clarify it for you, okay? We had a presentation before our Parks Committee by the Parks Department, okay? They were supposed to be at a full board meeting, but we did not have the minutes from the Parks meeting. At that time, we couldn't vote on Parks' presentation. The representative from Trump's Links came and expressed their dismay that they weren't allowed to allow the community to hear what they were talking about. Okay? Excuse me? From whom?
Was that allowed for you to hear?
They didn't feel the community heard what their presentation was. Okay? I gave him the courtesy of saying if he wanted to speak, he can come and speak before the board. That's what we're here for, the public to hear. Okay? Now, at the same time, as a board, we're hearing the presentations. We either look to accept what's coming from Parks, or we deny what's coming from Parks. We can always make recommendations. But we are faced with the fact, we have facts to face, that if we reject this money disappears totally. Okay? We also have the fact that the golf course is coming in and they want some land. They want some land, and that land is going to cut off portions of the park from the bucket. Okay? We know my Boy Scout troops and all of that, but it's going to cut off the access to the park. Okay? At the same time, we've been long suffering
Yes,
as far as Ferry Point Park is concerned.
yes.
We want our park, we want it done up just as well as any other community's parks are done. Okay? So, if we get to say, and we get to speak on it, then we get to do that. Okay? But at the same time, in hearing from Trump Links, okay, they gave us this. There's other details we don't know. And it'd be very difficult for us to even make a decision based on the factors that we don't know. The reason I didn't have a problem bringing them here, and this is a message not only to Trump Links, but to the city as well. You've been dumping on us from the time this thing came in. And we've been getting screwed from the time this thing came in. So the community needed to hear this. And no heroes here, okay? Because in the end, we still come out with the west side of that park not being up to what we feel is a community standard.
And we also know
Okay.
that the Parks Department doesn't take care of the west side of the
Okay.
park. So to trust them to continue and go through that area that they're discussing. How can we trust them? I don't trust them.
Well, I can understand that.
I don't trust them.
Just real quick, so everyone understands, this is the first time even the board has seen Trump's proposal. So we haven't seen it either until tonight. Trump went to the Parks Department, the board was out of it. So tonight was the first time we've seen it too, so just to let you know.
What I'm asking is that, let's say you say yes to Trump or no to Trump. Where does it go from there? Does it go to the mayor's office? And is the mayor gonna say, I'm sorry, I heard you, but I'm not siding with you? You
Well,
know?
you know what?
I mean, they're not gonna take the board's,
No, we feel that's more possible than not possible.
because it's
but at
happening
the
in my
same time-
community with Target and with the homeless shelter and with the Pepsi location. It has always been like that. The board agrees with us, and then it goes to the city, and the city says, we're gonna do it. That's what you're gonna have. That's what you're gonna have, and that's what you're gonna have. And what say do we have?
Nothing.
Good. Again, all those projects you just mentioned were all right, they had the right of way. They didn't have to come in front of us. And that was the
They
problem.
should have had the right,
We-
you should have had the right.
The board has been looking to change that since John's been chair, since Martin. We're trying to get rid of that title, that they should come in front of the board, just to let you know that, you know. But they have to go through the same thing, and all we can do is go to the borough president and ask him to side with us.
Well, the borough president, I read an article where he told everybody not to go to the Trump golf course.
Okay,
He was bad mouthing it like crazy,
I'm gonna give you 30 more seconds.
but anyway, that's my opinion. I feel that, listen,
Thank you.
I know there might be pros and cons, maybe you could get some more information from this Trump organization and work something out that's a little bit better than you feel, and maybe get in touch with the people in the community to get their input. You know, and
Well,
maybe
yeah,
that
yeah.
plan is not solid, maybe it could be adjusted somewhat.
What I would say in that, again, we're gonna listen, we're gonna hear it, we're gonna discuss it. We know that coming out of this, we're gonna have our recommendations. We're gonna have our recommendations. We know what's ahead of us. We know, again, if we don't use that money, we lose that money. And that's something we really have to think about. Because, again, someone's asking the portion they're not talking to us about, and that's the financial portion, and that 20-year lease, and all of this extension, we're not involved in that.
No.
And they never involved us in that. And if anything, we're here for the community to hear this, okay? Because everybody's coming and making us promises, okay? And it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but we did not want it to go down where somebody's gonna say, well, you know, you should have listened and heard what they had to say. So we heard them. We heard what they had to say. And it left just as many questions as it did as far as giving us answers.
Will you
Okay.
pose those questions to both the Parks Department and the Trump organization?
You saw the questions were right here.
And you'll get answers from them, I hope.
Well, we would hope. We haven't gotten answers up to this point. You know, this was all just from on us too. And as I said, the part that we look at in terms of our protest is from the whole time this thing went on, we got pushed to the side. But this is our neighborhood.
That money
And we
from the
shouldn't have
Parks
gotten pushed to
Department
the side.
Could be best used on the west side of Ferry Point Park. Tell
Okay.
you the truth, that's my
Understood.
opinion.
All right, then,
Point of order.
Just real quick, I know the Trump organization said, Martin just said that if we don't use it, we lose it. Okay, but the Trump organization said that they will take care of the park. Is that correct? Okay, so even if we lose the money, we're still gonna get the park fixed.
That's not a point of order.
Yeah, I would just like to make a clarification, because, you know, I want to be respectful to New York City Parks. And we came with a proposal that we submitted to our landlord, which was very detailed, and it was between New York City Parks and us. When we heard about the proposal going to the community board, we weren't aware of it. So I made the judgment to come and basically fill the community board in that there is a second story and that there is another proposal. That was done at a time prior to any decision being made by the city of New York. At that time, there was more information that needed to be, I guess, flushed out. And we are happy and to come to the board in front of you guys and explain to you what we were suggesting that to do. I want to be clear, what we presented is not the proposal that we presented to Parks. It is a description of what we wanted to do and what we felt was the best use for that area. And that's what this is. I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is not the formal proposal.
Will we submit that to you? Is that allowed to submit that to you?
Parks has it.
Parks
Parks has it.
Put in Parks, give you a copy? Parks.
It's public information. I think if you just make a request,
If I can ask a question, because I'm a little confused. I understand that we can't vote on the Trump thing, we just could say that we like that idea. But I don't understand where the money would disappear if we did vote down the Parks thing, because that would be like a malicious to the Bronx, and we all know that the Bronx is trying to establish itself better. So that would be a very bad tactic by the mayor.
Mike, no. Standard procedure. You have a budget proposal. If that budget doesn't go through, it goes back to the Office of Management and Budgets. It has nothing to do with anybody being spiteful.
Why can't it
The
go
money,
back?
because that's not the way the city operates. When you have a proposal with a budgeted fund, and that fund is not being used for that specific purpose, it goes back into the general fund through the Office of Management and Budget.
But Bob, you misunderstand.
That's the way it works.
I
understand we want it to
No,
work
you're misunderstanding
differently.
me. Why
Point of
can't,
order.
why can't the
Point
mayor
of order.
put the
We
proposal
are
back?
out of order
That's
here.
not
Mike, we're out
unallowed.
of order.
Okay, but
We
I
gotta
just,
go back to the public speaker portion. It's getting late. We have people to hear from, and we can't be chewing up all this time anymore.
Kevin, the lawyer?
Hello, how you doing? I'm Kevin Deloy out in the community. I come out, talk to these nice folks here for different things, usually safety, based out the parks. I think you do a great job. I met Joe one-on-one and heard his proposal, and you're a great guy, Joe, and the proposal's kind of great. Personally, I would lean more towards the city plan, the parks plan, but I don't think it's great either. I'm actually here today not only as a resident and a community member, but Transit Alternatives was a part of this whole plan of redoing the pathways from Soundview through Ferry Point Park over to the other bridge. Back you guys were talking about Giuliani 2000. So I just want to read a couple notes from that. And, looking at you guys, money disappears, but it's not this way. But maybe there's some tweaks that could be done with recommendations from the board. So when this plan was first done, it was a dual effort, tightly coupled between somebody creating a concession for golf and a pathway from all the way from Soundview, Paulson's Point, and all the way through Ferry Point Park. A lot of this has been done. Soundview Greenway, Bugsy Creek Greenway, the Rush Avenue, soon to be completed, fantastic plan from Keith, whatever his name was there, from DOT. But what it says is the proposed greenway will travel on new paths to be built along the alignment of existing paths to the western segment of the park, that's Ferry Point Park, past the soccer fields, past the ball fields. There'll be a dual carriageway path that will travel along the waterfront at the tip of the park, underneath the bridge, a multi-use path, meaning pedestrian, cycling, access full from one end to Emerson, that's the name of that street over by Shire. And, you know, if that upsets a few people over there, well, we still need to connect the Bronx, so that's the way I would go for that. At the tip of the park, underneath the bridge, a multi-use path will connect the bicycle lanes and the public esplanade, which will be constructed with the golf course on the eastern segment of the park. Great, thank you. The last piece of this is, coming from Brush Avenue, with that piece being done, heading into Ferry Point Park. I'm gonna just take a step off to the west side for a second, I'm sorry. East side, I'm gonna stick to the city plan. West side does need work, the whole esplanade, lights. Now that the time change is done, I'm afraid to take my bike in that area over there. The bathroom's taking forever to build. I think I just wanted to mention to the team, part of this a long time ago, when I could see pathways extending to both bridges right through this 19.5. That's all.
Dorothy Posey.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dottie, and I'm the president of Ferry Point, Friends of Ferry Point Park. And all I can say is I'm usually on Park side for everything, but in this case, I'm so disappointed that they had this huge, beautiful plan that was way over the top. And I had asked, can you make it more rustic? And they said, no, we're gonna do this, and they had paid for this beautiful design, Thomas Baisley, and it had everything you could want in a park. As they had concrete walls with a snack bar and outdoor dining and a kayak canoe launch that was permanent and would last for many, many years. And they had all walking paths that went over the wildlife refuge over there and the saltwater marsh, and they had 2 levels of one that was like they showed bicycles on, and they had pedestrians on the other level, and with like what looked like wooden planks, you know. It was really, really, really pretty. So me being more of a rustic person, I asked them, can you do something to, you know, make it a little more like comfortable looking rather than so artificial? And they said, yeah, we could use some different fencing and things like that. Well, now they come back with this asphalt road with crumbly edges, and they're not even finishing the edge of that, make it, you know, when in the winter it freezes and thaws, it won't be there long. And they're gonna dig a big hole and put a saltwater marsh there that, into toxic area. They're gonna bury the toxic material under mountains that are going to block the view in a lot of situations, 25 feet, 35 feet, and 45 feet.
30 seconds.
So, in my opinion, this doesn't sound like something that is that great. And so the Trump proposal sounds much better to me than the one that they're coming up with at this point.
Quickly respond. So parks, the plan that we have, we feel is the most resilient plan. Again, learning a lot from Storm Sandy that came through. We felt the active recreation just wouldn't survive in that area. And you know, we know with the soccer field, we could learn from that. Just on the other side of the park, that was built, it flooded out, the whole thing had to be redone.
Yeah,
So we don't want to.
You put it back at the same level.
No, it was increased elevation at a great expense.
How far? 2 feet?
Above the floodplain.
Well,
So,
Dottie, this is a
I'm sorry,
conversation
but
back and
Sandy
forth.
went up 2 feet, and you just spent, what, $1 million?
well, the point is, the active recreation, we felt it wasn't the best thing for the community, it wasn't the best thing for the park there. So we're going with a passive park that will bring the most enjoyment to people by, you know, really the key thing is getting to the water. People, families want to walk along the water, want to stroll along the water. Someone mentioned children before, you know, this is for them. So we felt this was the most resilient plan that will benefit the community the best. Thank you.
Last speaker. Hold on a minute. Last speaker is Lou Rocco.
I signed up, and I had to.
You spoke already, man.
Yeah, but not about Berry Point.
You spoke.
And look, I have the title. You wanna see? It's Crosby. It's a peninsula. You wanna see? It's from after the war. My grandfather bought it.
Oh, please.
All the description of property. Okay? And my house was stolen, and all homeless people. Some people that didn't have money. Okay, but wait a minute.
Oh, we got a meeting going.
Give me my 2 minutes. Yes.
Good evening, community board members, commissioner, and everyone that came out tonight. I'd like first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Lou Rocco. I'm the president of Westchester Square Civic, and I've done great things with the help of the Parks Department. I was on Community Board 9, and I worked on Field of Dreams, which was horrific. Takes a lot of work, and then you get something that shines. Right now, we have Pelham Bay Park, we have Orchard Beach Park, we have Ferry Point Park, we have Vet Memorial Park. We have a lot of access to water. For the last 40 years, we haven't had access to the park that's proposed. I wonder why. I am supportive of the Trump Corporation links and letting them have the corporation. I feel that what we saw in the golf course and the time frame and everything, and the responsibility, I would like the community board to consider them taking it over. We need to move forward, and we need to get stuff done. We have so much work to be done in these other parks. I look forward to working with the park department, with the community board, and let the other parks shine. I hear so many problems. I've also requested, since I'm here, I've been trying to get park police. I don't know how many there are out there. They need to take some responsibility. Pep police. We need to increase them because they're damaging the parks faster than we can use them. We need to see more pep or park police. The next proposals, we should get them. I've had trees damaged. I've asked for park police to go there. It takes months. They destroy our parks, and we should be looking into considering it, protecting what we have, and moving forward. I would like to see the Lynx and the Trump Corporation take hold of this and make it something beautiful for all of us to use as a community. I thank everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you. My name used to be Joanne Esposito, and I was attending William Morris. And the Bronx symbol is, till the sun sets no more, the land belongs with the Native Americans, and it was the crown purse. That started like the Trump is like the crown purse here. Well, that's what it was. And my house, and I have the title if anybody wants to look at it, and my house, I ran for president in 1996, and it says Young Star Senate, and they stole my house, the cop was arrested, I was impersonated. But where Waterbury Avenue is, that used to be cement teepees, that's what we call the Bronx. And the Smithsonian was there, that not everybody knows. When they found any artifacts, they classify it. It's no longer there. The Waterbury condominiums are there. Ferry Point Park, I used to swim there when I was a child. And I'm talking little. I'm talking in the late 50s, the early 60s. I'm 61 years old. And I sacrificed my wealth. And that was St. Raymond's cemetery property, St. Raymond's. And all you folks care about your children, but do you know the churches, the synagogues, the mosques are another set of laws to raise children. And a process that I shared my wealth and the churches was supposed to be in charge, the cloisters over there. So Ferry Point was federal land, and if you really want to do something, why don't you make the Bronx really shine and make it a people project? And the horses were supposed to work. That was the Army Quarter horses. That's federal land over there. And this side, where Trump got it, that was St. Raymond's, the cemetery. Okay? So all I'm saying is, the Trump, well, we know we have a new president-elect, Trump. But I think that you should try to not just focus on money, because you could have had a lot of trailer houses for the homeless too. And I don't know if anybody thought about this. Instead of giving people their own bus companies and everything else for the kids. Let's not make money and focus on money. Let's talk about energy and our institutions of child rearing that we're forgetting. Churches are closing. They got rid of the poor class. St. Clair's closed. That was the model for all the United States. And I am Shirley Temple, and please go to see Baby Burlesque. No, don't laugh. The blackout Shirley Temple Agar was a royal wedding publicity at West Point, and Shirley Temple Black. Okay, but let me tell you, on Dick Cavett, she bragged about Eleanor Roosevelt with the slingshot.
Enough! Shirley Temple's gay.
No, Shirley Temple's right here. Joey Nesbitt's right here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You know what? The press is dead.
gentlemen,
You gotta pay
we
for
will
TV.
be convening on Thursday for our full board meeting, and at that time, the presentation given by the New York Parks Department, we will be voting on that issue that night. We will also be looking to hear from 222 Long Street. So again, that meeting will be Thursday night at the Greek School on Buckner Boulevard. With that, thank you all for coming out. I appreciate your input.
Okay, thank you, bye.